60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof. Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country, and of course grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments. We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself. 60% of the American public.
We are just literally minutes away from the border to Canada as we flee the U.S.
Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. If you are wanting to leave the United States, if you have been wanting to leave the United States for years, and you have an opportunity to go, I'm going to tell you to go. I'm going to tell you as an astrologer, if you are feeling the call to leave and you are able to financially, you don't have any ties, you're able to go, I am telling you right now to go. Go. Because the astrology is about to kick off to an astronomical level. Like, we are in it now. And the Uranus return of the United States is until 2033. 2026 is the year where we are beginning it. Get a plan together. I've been on the internet since 2023 talking about this, urging people to get a game plan in motion. I have so many videos on YouTube, Helena Woods Astrology. Go watch all my predictions. I've been telling people, if you want to go, you need to get a plan together to go, because things are going to pop off. And if you already want to leave, go. I left for a lot of reasons. I worked minimum wage jobs. I hustled for 1.5 years, saved up all my money babysitting and serving tables and working retail. I saved enough money. Cost of living is low here abroad in Europe. Everything's lower cost. Healthcare, rent, everything. So I'm just saying there are ways to get out. If you want to learn about how to do this, comment the word abroad down below and I'll send you my class so you can start learning this.
This is not a political post. But you know how people are always saying, if you don't like it, then you can leave? Well, people are. And in rapidly increasing numbers. As you can see, this article reports that there's been a 102% increase in people who have elected for the expat lifestyle, meaning people who are leaving America to go reside in different countries. And the article goes on to cite a few key reasons for this. The main elements being socioeconomic factors that make it difficult and more expensive to live on a daily basis, gun violence and the lack of action to reduce it, and as expected, the increasing political polarization that exists within America. And it's important to note that other countries throughout the world are taking notice of this escalating trend, and they're putting together programs to recruit American professionals to their countries, likely to increase their GDP. I think this will be an interesting trend to monitor and see how it changes over the next few years, especially as this becomes a more realistic lifestyle choice.
Which countries are Americans moving to the most, and why are so many leaving the U.S.? In recent years, over 9 million Americans now live abroad, the highest number ever recorded. But where are they heading, and why? Starting off at number 5, Germany, popular for its strong economy, affordable education, and safe cities. At number 4, Canada, just across the border, drawing around 800,000 U.S. citizens who seek universal health care and familiar culture. Coming in at number 3, Mexico, home to nearly 1.6 million American expats, attracted by lower living costs and year-round sunshine. At number 2, the United Kingdom, offering work, study, and family connections for over 900,000 Americans. And topping the list, Japan, with a fast-growing American community, thanks to safety, tech jobs, and a unique cultural pull. From chasing opportunity to finding peace, Americans are spreading across the globe, and the numbers keep rising each year. Would you ever move abroad? Comment below where you'd go first.
Nobody's gonna be happy with this, honestly. I can tell you for a whole fact that a lot of people are already seeing every single thing that has literally been predicted by Black people. And to be honest, Black people, if only a lot of you stubborn ones were literally listening to Black people, a lot of us wouldn't have been where we are today. Yes, we wouldn't have been where we are today because I'm also suffering the cost of you putting this orange man on seats. Yes, a lot of people are going broke. A lot of people cannot eat 3 decent square meal. I can tell you for a whole fact. I did what do you call it? I did a welfare distribution that was last 2 months, and I knew how people turned up to the point that I didn't even have enough. I didn't have enough to pull out to people. This administration has made us seem the worst. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Let's go continue this video. I'll be back with commentaries.
If oil hits $300 a barrel, this is how life could change for the United States and everyone in it. With oil being blocked, most people think that just our gas is going to go up, but in fact, oil is essential in things like medicine, energy, and everything else pretty much in the world. If oil hits $300 a barrel, which they are predicting it will, gas prices could go up to $15 per gallon, and medicine could almost double or triple the cost that it is now. But that is just one domino that will fall. Families will start to have to make hard choices. Now, to understand all of this, you need to know that America's superpower is not its military, it's the dollar. After World War II, the United States made a deal where all oil around the world gets bought with the US dollar. This is what is called the petrodollar. Every country that needs oil needs to buy it in dollars, and this is what keeps the United States on top. Now, with the recent conflict, they are blocking oil on purpose. They want to essentially topple our economy. Now, Iran is not the only country that wants to topple the US dollar. There's plenty of other countries that do as well. These are called the BRICS countries, and they have unified, and they want a gold-backed standard instead of a US dollar standard. Most people don't know that the US dollar standard has only been around since the late 1940s. Every single currency throughout the history of time has always been turned over or toppled. Every single one. Now, while you have all this going on, Wall Street is also sitting on a time bomb. The stock market is being propped up by the AI bubble. These are not AI profits, it's just all hype. If the AI bubble pops, it is bad news for most people. Most retirement accounts will basically go to almost zero, and the US will be in a very, very bad situation. Now, this is where Ray Dalio comes in. If you don't know Ray Dalio, he was a very successful investor, but he also wrote a book called The Changing of the World Order. What he talks about is that every 75 to 100 years, there's a changing in the world power. Right now, we've been a world power for a little over 100 years, and he has said that we are basically at the end of the timeline. It happens to everybody. Britain, Holland, and just keep going back through time. Every superpower eventually topples. It's not a prediction anymore, it's a pattern. Now, the scary part is that all three of these things are about to topple at the same time. Oil, the stock market, and the dollar. Now, to make matters worse, they have started hitting desalination plants. Desalination plants are critical in order for water supply. If you heard, there was an attempted attack or a drone attack on California on our desalination plants. They are going to go after our most critical resources via cyber attack, via natural resources, so you need to be prepared. This is what I would do to prepare. If you don't have a stockpile of any sort of common medicines for you, for your kids, that is what I would stock up on immediately. Additionally, get food supplies for the next few months. That is what you're going to need, and get some cash saved away. That vacation that you were thinking about taking, I would double think that, because the prices of AC, air conditioning, are going to go up dramatically. We're going to have a very hot summer here in the United States, and the price of oil is going to go up to $300 a barrel. Now, we use 40% oil to power our energy supply here in the United States. So the prices of everything are about to go through the roof. You need to be prepared, and you need a backup plan.
If you are an American, one of the reasons why you should leave the country, right, one of the main reasons you should leave the country is because, look, it's getting more competitive. Like in January alone, there were 600,000 layoffs, right? And the job market is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So, and a lot of older people will not be able to retire. So what's going to happen? old people. I'm talking about boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and pretty soon Gen Alpha. They're all going to be competing for the same job. You know that job at Starbucks and that job at Walmart? 4 or 5 generations are going to be competing for that one job. Okay, because somebody with a master's degree, bachelor's degree cannot get a job anymore. They're all going to be competing for that one job at Walmart. So that clerk, right, that store clerk in Walmart, your grandparents are going to be your competitor. They're going to be competing with you to work at Walmart. I want you to think about that. Right? So if you have any amount of money, or if you can have like an online business, YouTube channel, if you sell digital products online, or if you can like work abroad in another country, teach English in another country, anything, do it. Don't stay, because it's going to get extreme. It's going to get so hard in America. It's going to be embarrassing.
This is the moment the world stopped listening. On Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, at 11:47 a.m., the sound of chairs scraping against marble floors echoed through the United Nations Security Council. This wasn't a scheduled break. 14 nations, including our closest allies like France, Germany, Japan, and South Korea, simply stood up and walked out while the American ambassador was still speaking. It is a moment that defines the instant Donald Trump lost control of the Middle East, not in a history book, but in real time. 42 days ago, the White House promised the most brilliant military strategy in history. They called it maximum shock. The goal was to force Iran into total surrender. Within 10 days, through surgical strikes and a complete naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump told the world that Iran would be begging for a deal by the weekend. But that assumption was catastrophically wrong. Instead of a surrender, Iran's foreign minister just stood before global cameras and delivered 3 words that have shattered the administration's plans: "We reject everything." The strategy gambled on the idea that the world would fall in line once they saw Iran crumble. Instead, the dominoes fell against Washington. It started with a 2-minute phone call from the French president, informing Trump that France was withdrawing from all joint military operations. It continued when the Saudi crown prince told the president that the kingdom was already in secret talks with Iran to end the conflict themselves. When Trump shouted that this was a betrayal, the reply was chilling. "You did not consult us before starting this. We are now consulting ourselves on how to end it." The economic blowback is no longer a prediction. It's a reality. The Dow Jones opened down over 800 points because of what experts call a diplomatic isolation premium. Markets have realized that American credibility is now a risk factor. If you're feeling the squeeze at the pump, this is why. With 18 million barrels of oil blocked, gas prices are projected to hit $6 a gallon. Shipping costs have spiked 34% because cargo ships are rerouting around Africa to avoid the conflict zone. Inside the Situation Room, the mood has turned. Even the chairman of the Joint Chiefs has admitted that the blockade is hitting a logistical breaking point, and Iran's retaliatory strikes are becoming more accurate. The administration is now trapped on an escalation ladder with no rungs leading back down. Iran isn't negotiating because they see the world walking away from us. They've calculated that American domestic politics will break before they do. We are watching the end of the assumption that when America acts, the world must follow. How do you think this ends? Does the U.S. force a dangerous escalation, or are we witnessing a permanent shift in global power? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every single one. Press the follow button to stay updated on the next 72 hours, because what happens next will reshape the world for a generation.
I'm making 3 predictions about this war. The first is the United States will use ground troops. And this will mean that Donald Trump will institute a national draft. Okay? That's the first prediction. Second prediction is that Israel and the United States will not use tactical nuclear weapons in this war. Number 3 is that the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the 3rd holiest site in the Islamic world, will be destroyed during this war. So 3 things to take away from his talk with reporters. Okay, the first thing is the administration, Donald Trump, the White House, has not articulated a budget. How much will this war cost? Which means that this is an open-ended war. We don't know when this war will end. And so we don't know what the commitment is, and so we don't know how much this war will cost. Okay, that's the first point he makes. The second point he makes is we are on a path towards the deployment of ground troops in Iran. Okay, and that basically means a national draft. And the third thing that's crucial is he says that they know for a fact that Russia is already involved in this war, aiding Iran.
Everything is escalating. We knew that was going to happen, and it's starting now. But I'm going to say this with so much love and peace, okay? The ramping up has not even really begun. It's going to be fast, it's going to be quick, and it's going to feel compacted. Like a lot of things are going to happen all at once. So as this stuff begins to ramp up, I don't want you to panic. There's no reason to go, my God, what could even happen more? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you sit here and try to imagine something worse? Let it unfold, because remember, we are coming to the end of a lot of cycles, right? We're coming up to this nodal point in timelines. Timelines are like, there's like a million of them, and a lot of them are like slamming down together. Slamming is a good word, thank you guys. Slamming down together, and where we're coming to a nodal point, which is a turning point in humanity, a turning point in our history here on Earth. Oh, and I just saw a little hummingbird, which is my grandma. Hi, Grandma. And all of these points, they're collapsing down, and they're coming to this point in which we all we all get to experience this turning point, and then they're gonna split back out again, right? But we're all going to experience this turning point in humanity, this turning point in history, which we've known about for lots of different reasons, for astrologically, spiritually, psychically, all these different things. We know we're coming to a head. So as everything continues to ramp up more, it's going to look intense. But I need you to know, I don't see any, and I'm not the only one saying this, but I don't see any worldwide destruction. I don't see the extraterrestrials. We're not gonna let that happen anyway. I don't even see countrywide destruction. I don't even see for the United States, I don't see statewide. I see maybe some citywide, like I see like a city or most of a city, not even a whole city, just random points in the United States, maybe even different parts of South America, maybe even parts of Europe. I see Asia having a very different energy. Sorry, I'm channeling it for you right now. But what I'm seeing is these different parts, maybe like a small area, like a city or a very small region, might lose power for a few hours, but it's not like days, weeks, months. It's not like that. Or maybe the internet goes down, but for several hours and just in like a little region, and then it comes back on, right? And all of these things I'm being told or being shown are all circumstantial. It's not because of one big reason. It's not some big conspiracy theory. It's all circumstantial. So we're like, the internet might go down for this reason, and then like power might be cut for a few hours for this reason, right? And there'll be like different little things that are happening, but it's not worldwide mass destruction or anything like that. And remember what we've been saying, we're going to come up to the edge of what's going to look like the world war, and it's going to be very convincing, but it's not actually going to happen. There is war in Middle East, but there's not a world war. So I want you to focus on yourself, focus on your own lessons, and learn that not everything you see out there is for you. Some things are for everybody else, but it's all happening at once because we're at the end of a cycle.
Anyways, you guys have seen all of that video, and I can tell you for a whole fact that there is nothing that will literally make people suffer if not a lot of cost of living, east, west, north, and south, and so on and so forth. High cost of living, prices for everyday essentials, food, rent, transportation has risen faster wages for many people. Even if someone is working, money does not stretch as far. I can tell you that for a whole fact. There is a place that we can usually go with not, how do I even, with just 100 naira. But right now, house crisis. In many cities, rents have increased sharply due to house shortage, more demand than supply, landlord rising prices that makes it harder to afford or even keep houses. Then we're going to be talking about the inflation impact, where rent inflation, especially after COVID era, disrupt increased price across the board, grocery, fuel, utility, putting pressure on household. Although wages have increased in some sectors, they often do not match the pace of rising costs, so people feel poorer in real time. Certain industry, tech layoff, Retail changes, gig works have seen laid off, reduced hours, contract-based work instead of stable jobs. Many Americans carry student loan, credit card debt, medical bills. High interest rates makes payments harder. The US has one of the most expensive healthcare systems. Even insured people can face high out-of-pocket costs. Policies by the Federal Reserve to control inflation have increased interest rates. This makes loan more expensive, mortgage harder to afford, credit and debt worsen. Wealth is unevenly distributed. Some Americans are very wealthy while others live paycheck to paycheck, creating a visible gap. College tuitions is very expensive. Childcare costs can take a large part of your income. Family feel seized from both ends. Shift towards automation and digital jobs means some worker skills are becoming outdated, leading to job insecurity. Life is becoming more expensive in cities like New York City, San Francisco. People in these areas feel the pressure more than its cheaper region. The US is not collapsing, but it is experiencing economic strain from certain groups. Unemployment is not universally high, but job qualities and cost of living are key issues. Many people are working while still struggling. And this is called working poor problem. If you're a Black American, you're watching, I'm sending you hugs. Please send me hug as well, because we're also dealing with some of these things here. But I'm definitely going to say it's a bit better here because of, I don't know, maybe for me, I don't know. Let me not conclude. But I'm sending you guys hug, and I want you guys to always take care of yourself. And please try your possible best to save money. If you have money to relocate and you think relocation is the best for you, why not? Let me know what you think about this video. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye guys, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye. I love you guys.